Cohen.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we're ready.
Thank you. All right, we'll call the...
Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll call the meeting together for protection and policy for Thursday, February 16th, 2023. It is now 4:04 p.m. Roll call. Alder Grant.
Present.
Alder Morgan.
Present.
Alder Scannell.
Here.
Myself, Alder Stevens. We're here. I'll take a motion to approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. On to regular business. Consideration with possible action on General Ordinance 03-23, an ordinance repealing and recreating Chapter 4, Green Bay Municipal Code related to alcohol beverages. At this time, I'll turn it over to our attorney.
Great, thank you. So I think first I'll talk about the background just for a second. So a few years ago, I believe Alder Galvin put in a communication for some updates. This has been updates to Chapter 4. Chapter 4 has been modified since for different changes in state law, but this is a comprehensive update to address a couple of things that have sunsetted provisions in Chapter 4, but also as it's marked as repeal and replace because we've made a lot of changes, some of them small, some of them more significant, but it's throughout the entire chapter. So the intent for the repeal and replace, just for clarification, is that the current draft will be replaced in its entirety by the new draft that we have posted with the agenda. So I'll just go through a quick outline of the kind of bigger items changes by section, and by section I mean starting with section 4-1, so I'm just going to say section 1 and 2. This is in the proposed draft that's in the meeting materials. So section 1 is fairly straightforward. It's just amended to align with chapter 125 of the Wisconsin statutes. And just for reference, chapter 125 is the authority granted by the state legislature for the local regulation of alcohol licensing. Section 2 incorporates that chapter of state law in its entirety. Section 3 is a list of all of the license types that we can issue here in the city. There's some clarifications, minor changes were made there. We removed wholesalers as an example because we don't license wholesalers. And then we made a couple of other modifications because of more recent changes in the law, which is 2021 Wisconsin Act 21 that related to to-go cocktails. And then also we added a specific clarified definition for picnic licenses and wine walks. Section 4 is a license application. The significant change here is what a complete application is, and I think it's important to point out that we didn't necessarily add or subtract anything, but in the previous version or the current version of Chapter 4, all of the items that are required were not listed, but they are required as part of our process, part of the forms the clerk's office has. So just in an effort for transparency and completeness, they're all listed in Section 4 now, what a complete application means. Section 5 is more of a modification that provisional licenses have their own section. Section 6 is a significant change. We did have a temporary expansion of licensed premises provision that expired December 31st, 2022. Some of you may recall that's a provision that was put in place during the pandemic. It allowed for people to use outdoor spaces differently. That was under the emergency authority that allowed us to have more flexibility. So there are modifications made in the new chapter to reflect the fact that that has expired and what the permanent process will be going forward. Section 7 is really just procedures for the actual granting of a license in terms of the final payment, expiration of a license, and what it means to amend a license. Section 8 is very simply just inoperative licenses. Section 9, just a couple more sections, takes us to another section that has had significant revision. You may all recall that there was a point system in place, or as there is a point system in place with the current Chapter 4. The new process is more something that I would describe as stepped enforcement. So instead of the point system that led to a possible revocation, it's now a step process that tracks similar to other abatement proceedings we do, in that we're going to have correction meetings, abatement plans, and then summons and complaints regarding suspension or revocations. So again, just bringing that consistent with other license processes we have in the city. That section also covers non-renewals. Section 10 is a whole host of different license restrictions. that are in a category. It's again where we talk about outdoor areas, licensed patios, and that new construct for outdoor areas. And then sections 11 and 12, little if any changes, which is just operator licenses, and then the forfeitures for violations. That's just kind of a brief update of the section. One thing that it's important to note, Chapter 4 doesn't have any specific fees in Chapter 4 because we have a separate fee schedule. The only change related to the update, the revisions of Chapter 4, is the addition of a late application fee in the amount of $50, and the intention is to take our fee schedule and update that simultaneously with the update to Chapter 4, but that goes through the Finance Committee. Just one change, which is the addition of a late application fee. No other fees are proposed to change, correct? Yeah. So that's the only addition, separate item, as I said, but we have a revised fee schedule that we'll send through Finance at the same time here in a couple of weeks. So that's just the general overview.
Thank you.
So if we change that to push-ups instead of a fine, we don't have to go through finance, right?
Not sure where we put push-ups in the fee schedule, but, you could think about that, I guess. So, if you all have questions, otherwise, public comment, whatever you'd like. I know the Tavern League has comments planned for the meeting.
Just one, when I was looking through it, on the outdoor, so that's F3, it's right at the top of page 13. Fencing. I know in the past we've had some changes and discussions with fencing. I remember at one time it had to be so high and had to be a barrier that you weren't allowed to pass alcohol through and stuff. And I see this as much simpler, which I think is good. But when it comes to limiting ingress and egress, what kind of fencing would that necessarily need to be?
So there's two areas we talk about fencing. So in the licensed patio, it's actually referenced as a barrier, and that's meant to be a permanent structure, at least 3 feet. That's where you've seen some modification because it's been 6 feet.
Yeah.
So that's 3 feet. In the outdoor areas, the proposal, which this hasn't been a requirement previously, but again, making the outdoor areas, the ability to use outdoor areas permanent and long-term, it's proposed as fencing, which could be temporary. I think some of our entities and maybe
like with a snow fence?
have used portable fencing, chain link. The idea here is to limit, as we say, the incoming and outgoing traffic with the exception of safety, so people can go through a checkpoint, be ID'd, whatever, but it's not a permanent structure because these outdoor areas wouldn't be able to be used every day.
But it's got to be more significant than like tape.
I think so.
Yes, whenever anyone asks to do any type of outdoor, I know a long time ago, one of the local establishments, I think they made their barrier like a cinder block with a 2x4, and we're like, no, it's got to be something, snow fence. Some will put like the road barricades that you commonly see out on the street.
Yep.
Something that clearly delineates, here's the entrance and exit, not, a piece of tape or a ribbon or a 2x4 that could very easily be moved or.
And that wouldn't be necessary to actually put in the ordinance, do you think? Or, because you cover that, right? When they got to go through you, so is it really necessary?
I guess when it's nice, because there could be an establishment that says, no, I don't want to do that. So I guess if we could have it in there, it'd be nice, so they don't just say, hey, I'm going to put a piece of tape.
Right.
Yes, if they have, do not cross tape, we're probably going to recommend no, but once again, that will fall on the alders on whether to grant that.
And to also clarify, and it's been our process in the clerk's office, anytime you have a outdoor patio, we do ask for pictures, so pictures worth a million words. You have to look at your packet and you'll be able to see what they are presenting to us. Or if it's not built yet, it will be a map of what they're looking for. And I do see Alder Eck in the Zoom has her hand up.
Alder Eck?
So bear tracks won't work?
What I was wondering, because I know you made changes, is there a way to get like the changes in red just so that we can see the differences between what it used to be and what the proposed changes are?
So the answer to that is no. Well, I could do it for you I could compare the two versions, but because so many things have been reordered, it looks really complicated in a track change version. But if you wanted to see that all, they're just for you, I can do that. And we would just be comparing one draft to the other. But I'll just say it would be really hard to track through the changes because we had to reorganize it.
Or is there a way to just get a copy of the old, so that way there's something to compare to?
Yeah, so the current version is what's published in the ordinance, and I'm sorry because you're on Zoom, I brought some paper copies to the meeting, but I could certainly send you the version, but it says what's currently published in the city's code of ordinances. But I can send you the Word version.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's open the floor, take a motion, to open the floor.
Motion to open the floor.
Have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. So who would like to speak first?
I see
If I
Doug.
may?
Don?
Yes.
Okay, if you could state your name and your address.
MJLDE 13231 Lake Shore Road, Two Rivers, Wisconsin 54241. How'd I do?
Good.
Good, thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, and for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Don. I'm president of the Brown County Tavern League. Thank you for including me in this. I've had the pleasure of working with the city of Green Bay and Lacey on this municipal code reform. There's been some pretty significant changes that we navigated through, all 17 pages of wonderment. The copy before you, I presented recently to over 80 in attendance at our last Brown County Tavern League meeting, which was on Tuesday, to no objection. I believe the change in due process, as well as the other intricacies within the municipal code, provides accountability and benefit to not only the three branches of government, but to our license holders too. I really believe that a great majority of all of our establishment owners in the city are fair, unbiased, responsible people who have no problem with the changes created within this new municipal code. And because I went through it over a couple dozen times, including a few with Lacey, I can comfortably answer any questions you have on this copy compared to the previous one, or any aspect of the code as a whole. But most important, I want to thank you guys for including me in this process. I know that not all Tavern League chapters in the state have the luxury of working directly with their city leaders, so I'm just honored to be part of the conversation. Thank you, and any questions you guys have, please let me know.
Thank you, Don.
Question? Yeah, one. So you worked with it. Is there still anything on your mind that concerns you?
No, actually, if you ask Lacey, we've had very good conversation on this a few times already. Anything that popped up, we navigated through and worked through pretty good. I like the abatement plan in the replacement of the demerit system. It gives more direct accountability and a better window of fixing it. And it has you working directly with city leaders and not jumping right into a protection and policy meeting. So I like that aspect of it. Everything here looks good. I think that it gives, once again, accountability to the places that may not run their places as responsible, which I think was a problem with a few 3 to 5 places over the last 5 to 7 years. And that's what we're doing this for. Everybody else that I presented this to, they're responsible business owners. They've never really had a problem that it's reached a point where they've had to go to in front of the city leaders. So we're not seeing a lot of an issue on our end. Oh, and Randy, I think it would be 25 push-ups would be something we'd have to recommend.
25, okay. I was thinking 26, but if you want 25, okay.
The best negotiations that we have to do.
Any other questions for Don? No? All right. Well, Don, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to work with the city regarding this.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Motion to close, or is there anybody else?
Anybody else?
No one else has raised their hand in Zoom.
Okay. Take a motion to close the floor.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Okay, so what would we
Then just to make sure with the fencing, did we finish it? I mean, that language is sufficient?
Yeah, so to your point, I think you were asking about specific types of fencing, and I think it is going to be a subjective analysis based on the approval or the request for the approval. So we did a fencing or similar barrier capable of limiting ingress and egress to the licensed area. So ultimately, we could provide a list, but I don't think it would be all-inclusive, so it's
Right,
best to
right.
use this language. And
I
I
wasn't thinking so much a list as maybe if there's any language, and I don't know what it'd be, that would be maybe more pointed somehow, or, I
Specific
don't know.
about a fence.
Yeah. Well, Maybe,
We can think about that because we're going to have to make a couple of additional updates before the 27th, just some final edits, so if you want to think about.
Yeah, I do know most of the establishments, they ask, or especially now with outdoor patios, I know that's the thing, and it's more the aesthetics for their business that they want it to look nice, so,
Right.
I mean, unless it's where they're having the temporary party, most places invest quite a bit of money to make sure it's a nice fence and a nice barrier, and not just
Right.
stringing up a string or a piece of tape.
right. But I think this section is for the temporary, right? Not because it's in two spots, right?
This is for outdoor areas, not for patios. So you're talking about F3. But when we say temporary, this could be up for a number of days, because the temporary for outdoor areas
Right.
is up to 90 days
Right.
for the year. So it likely would be some sort of a structure that's not permanent, but also an actual fence.
Yeah, just,
I think we gave a couple of examples of, is it the cyclone fencing? What's it called? That's movable, removable? I don't know. The metal fencing was an
Yeah, I
example.
just got the cyclone, yeah.
Cyclone fencing. But if you have some suggestion, I mean, we can work on it more here if you want, but also between now and the meeting on the 27th, if you want some additional language adjustments.
I'm just
some
pitching it
ideas.
out there if you think it's, you know, I know in the past, fencing has been an issue in a number of different
Yeah.
ways, and I think this is good, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to get your, you know, thoughts on it. Is there a way to tweak it to make it a little better? Does it need that? If so, you know, I leave it to you to try and figure that out. I got nothing up there, sorry. I can't help you with it, but it may be just fine. I mean, as far as I can see, it's fine.
Yeah, I
Just-
think it's worked fairly good in the approvals, as the deputy clerk was saying. We get the picture, usually we get a
Right.
picture and understand what's either there now or what's going up.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, we could determine whether, and through asking questions or even their security plan, what the plan is for limiting just a free flow of people in and out.
Right. Okay.
So, I know the lieutenants have been asking, answering questions. Do you have any comments?
I'm thinking one establishment in particular that our current places would be grandfathered in, because the way I'm reading our ordinance with the egress and ingress, I know on Broadway, I believe it's a sardine can, you come from an unlicensed area to a licensed area, there are outdoor patio, and most times you're not going through, so I would hope, or just ask for all the establishments in Green Bay that we have currently, are they gonna be grandfathered in? Because I just wanna make sure they're not gonna come back or come to you and say, well, now what, we have this big outdoor patio, people have come from the outside, and now we're gonna say they can't?
I think the issue is they can't, if they can't do it with alcohol in their hand. So you can't go from through an unlicensed area with alcohol. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about just them?
Well, on the licensed patio, how it says access to a licensed patio shall be through an indoor licensed area. Ingress to a licensed patio from an unlicensed area should be limited to safety purposes only. Well, I know there are some places that temporary or non-temporarily, when you walk, you're coming from the street straight to their patio.
Yeah.
Or downtown, I know you're coming off the city deck straight to,
Right.
say,
It's like an entrance.
Webster Park, or, what is it, Fox Harbor, that you're coming to their patio right away.
Right.
That, and I just realized, I apologize, I should have picked up on that before, but that popped in my head, that I just want to make sure, are they going to be grandfathered in, or is that something?
Yeah, and I think we can look at that more specifically just to make sure, but I think the issue that we're trying to get at there is that you're not walking in with alcohol.
Correct, yep.
Right, not that they can't enter the business from like if
Yeah.
you only want to sit on their patio, I think that's fine. It's just a situation where you might be coming from like a, farmer's market or other event that serves alcohol, and you just walk into another establishment.
Yes,
Yeah.
that we agree with. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure there's the clarification, so
Well, that's
they
a good
don't,
point.
so they
Yeah.
don't come to us, the attorney, or the alders complaining about that, like, now what do we do?
Makes sense to me.
Yep.
Paul Morgan?
I just wonder about, Stanley's talk about the fence. You know, my past history working with temporary fencing and stuff is more like firemen's picnics and stuff. And you said some places would authorize maybe a snow fence or something. I actually watched 6-foot guys that can actually step over a fence like that. And so I'm wondering if we shouldn't have more definition on it has to be a height or something like that. And then the other thing is this just to prevent somebody from walking in with a beer? Because we always fought the idea of people passing the alcohol to underage people. Do we need to get a fence that can prevent that, or, you know?
I believe that was the purpose of the 6-foot fence, but most of the establishments now in Green Bay have some type of outdoor area very close to the public. At the police department, we have not seen, I guess, a rash or places that are known that, hey, if you go there, that drinks are being passed to underage people. I'll use downtown Hagemeister Park that's hooked right up to City Deck. We're not seeing where there's minors out on the deck and alcohol's being passed out to them. So the thought process behind that, we had that ordinance, but we are not seeing it as a police department. I do know in the past 10 or 15 years ago, it was thought that that was happening, but so many places now have outdoor patios, and we just weren't seeing it. And I believe in the past, it was always, it could be waived with council approval, and it was, in my time, it was always 100% waived, so it was like, why have that part of the ordinance when it's getting waived 100% of the time anyway? So we're not seeing it, and a lot of times, I understand like with the snow fencing, a lot of times that's for the temporary, like they're having, I use Anduzzi's out on the far east side, they'll have Anduzzi Fest where they use their parking lot and put up the fencing. We make sure they have adequate security so no people aren't sneaking in and out. That's part of our questioning, that they don't just have one person by the entrance and they have 85 feet of fencing going all around where they're not monitoring it. Before we give a recommendation, we make sure they'll have the adequate security, I guess, to monitor all lengths of the fence.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve?
Motion
I need
to send to staff.
Just to make the edits consistent with comments at the meeting would be really helpful, and then we'll bring a final draft back on the 27th.
To hear?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so for the motion to refer.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, ayes have it. Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Wait, did someone say no? Did you hear a no? You all said yes, right?